Hello, everybody. My name is Lush Eisner, and welcome to the Canadian Money Talk, the channel about Canadian investing and personal finance. Please like and subscribe. I record a video per week, so make sure you ring the notification bell to get notified each time one comes out. This video will lay out a simplish money plan for youngish Canadians. Here at the Canadian Money Talk, I try to help you get the most out of your money. I usually try to keep things generic and not age specific, but in some cases, the best things for you to do at this exact moment in your financial life depend on your age. So I put together a checklist of the things you should be doing in each stage of your life and or career. I'll cover middle and late career stages in coming weeks. So millions of college and university students are about to embark on the next stage of their lives, which for many will include their first taste of financial independence. Too little attention is paid, however, to the subject of financial literacy, especially in young adults. College graduates enter the workforce this month, representing Gen Z, born 1997 to 2012, a group of 6.7 million Canadians and a sixth of the Canadian population. Each generation is different, and Gen Zers are characterized as money driven and ambitious, who love to travel and are prone to anxiety. The average Gen Zer received their first mobile phone at the age of 10.3 years. They've grown up in hyper-connected worlds and on average spend 3 hours a day on their mobile device. They spend a lot of time on social media, consume a tremendous amount of content online, and are used to digital experiences and frictionless transactions. The gig economy seems more natural to them than any other generation, as not working a permanent job has become more and more common. Gen Zers tend to be risk averse, want to avoid debt, and believe that they will not need to rely on banks in the future. Most have never written a check, but they are interested in the stock market, and more have invested in the stock market at this age than most previous generations. Graduating Gen Zers and generally someone in their 20s in their early career should focus on the following. Number one, focus on your future earnings power and learning. Use your 20s to invest in your career by going to school, say, or learning a variety of skills. That way you can maximize your future earning power when you reach your peak money making years in your 40s. Waiting tables might allow you to make decent money now, but your future earning power might be limited. A desk job or learning a trade, on the other hand, might pay peanuts at the start, but set you up for a big salary down the road. Canadians' work earnings peak in their 40s, interestingly enough. The reality is that at the start of your career, you need to put time and money in to increase your ability to make money to invest. Initially, until you build up a portfolio, you need to trade your time for money. So you want to trade that time as dearly as possible. Your earnings will allow you to invest, and how much is up to you and what kind of life you want to live. And once that money accumulates and grows, it will be able to replace some and eventually all of your work income and more. On the theme of education, people in their 20s and ideally earlier should see that the opportunity lies with financial education, as Gen Zers have a strong appetite for financial education, and today they can find it and easily consume it online. Even though less than half of Gen Zers feel confident about their financial literacy, Gen Z may be more financially educated than any previous generation. The most familiar concepts for Gen Zers are how spending and savings work. Number two, take some smart career risks. One of the beauties of being young is that you can try to swing for the fences by switching jobs, say, or launching a company, or relocating to a city with more career opportunities. And if the whole thing is a flop, you've got time to recover. Taking big, potentially lucrative, potentially career defining risks gets harder as you enter into your 30s, thanks to kids and other very adult responsibilities. You don't want to take these risks in your early 60s when you can't recover from a failure. Now, as a counterpoint, be strategic in your career choices. It's easy to be too picky starting out, but you should aim for something that you can stick with and learn from for at least 2 or 3 years, as opposed to being a job hopper. Most working adults have career paths that are constantly changing, but they don't change jobs every year. Number three, pay off your debts and build a financial base. Next, pay off your high interest debts or bad debts. Any debt with 7% interest rate or higher is considered high interest debt. It's really hard to come out ahead financially if you're getting gouged through the eyeballs by credit card debt. This is particularly important when you're young because the nature of compounding interest means your debt has a lot of time to get bigger. Once your debt is paid off and your mind is at ease, you're fine. Compounding interest is a great tool if it is working in your favor, but very harmful if it is working against you. Also, differentiate between bad consumer debt, usually on credit cards, where you borrow to spend with nothing to show for it, or to buy a depreciating asset, versus where you borrow to buy an asset that is expected to make you money, like an investment rental property or a dividend paying stock. Be aware of your attitude towards debt and behave accordingly. Some people hate debt and it makes them nervous. Others are fine with it, but make sure it is good debt in any case. Start saving an emergency fund now. As with retirement savings, start this as soon as you have income. You can start by saving enough to cover 1 month of living expenses, but gradually continue to increase this to cover a longer period of unemployment if such an event occurs. Depending on your job, your emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months of basic spending. 3 months if you have a steady job, a working spouse, and 6 months if your income is sporadic. Number four, save and invest. In an automated way, so it is easy. Start socking away money habitually and regularly because it gets really, really hard to catch up the longer you wait. This is annoying, eat your peas advice, I'll admit, but time is on your side when you're young and you really should take advantage. A good rule of thumb is to have your savings, that is everything you have invested, not just what's in your bank account, equal your annual salary by the time you reach 30. So that's your goal. Start saving for retirement the moment you have income. Contribute as much or as little as you can as soon as you can. To your employer's retirement plan RSP or to a TFSA, so you start the behavior pattern and use compounding to your advantage. Creating and sticking to a budget will also help you get there. Number five, invest in somewhat risky stuff. History suggests you'd be wise to put a lot of your savings into the stock market to help it grow. Something like 57% of early career Canadians take a safe route, keeping all their money in cash, which is kneecapping their potential portfolio growth because historically, a savings account doesn't pay enough interest to outpace inflation. Thanks to the power of compounding returns, if you invest 50,000 in a stock index fund at age 25, that money will grow to 351,000 by the time you're 65, assuming a normalish 7% annual return and 2% inflation. Cash in the bank will only grow to 74,400, assuming a 3% return and 2% inflation over the same time. That is, to state the obvious, a huge difference. A stock-heavy portfolio will likely suffer some rough years. The Dow Jones has fallen 20% about once every 5 years, which is the definition of a bear market. And every 12 to 18 months, there will be a 10% correction. But your portfolio will almost certainly recover if it's diversified and you have time on your side to let it recover if you have 40 plus years before retirement. You can be aggressive and take some risks. There are lots of ways to invest. There are, for instance, thousands of exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which track everything from the entire global stock market to high-growth companies to the semiconductor industry. Whichever you choose, and I recommend a simple ETF-based portfolio diversified geographically to start, Many financial advisors suggest investors in their 20s hold a portfolio composed of 80 to 100% equities, that is ETFs and stocks, and the rest in bonds and maybe a smidge of gold. But that's not a hard and fast rule. Your allocation should depend on your risk tolerance. And finally, number 6, adjust your standard of living. If your parents helped you pay for college and living expenses, then you may be used to a higher standard of living than you'll be entitled to when you're on your own. You won't be alone, so find some roommates or trim your lifestyle now to help you focus on more important financial goals. Work 2 jobs while you're young and able. You may not earn big bucks at your entry-level day job, but you still get part-time gigs on at night and weekends to bring in extra income while you have the time and energy. There are plenty of resources available, including your parents and financial advisor, and don't hesitate to reach out to me if I can help as well. So these are things that young Canadians should do financially and career-wise. I'll talk about more seasoned Canadians in future videos. If you have any requests on what you'd like me to cover in future videos, please put that into the comment section. If you'd like to get in touch, please reach out on any of these social media channels, and may you have a profitable day.